Say on this, and we're joined live now by Mike Lyons from New York. He's a military analyst and former U.S. Army major. He joins us live now. I just want to get your take, first of all, Mike, on what we've heard from Donald Trump saying that 20 years of a nuclear suspension would be OK, will be enough for him to get a deal. What's your take on this?
Well, unfortunately, that means a sunset provision, and that was part of the original JCPOA. And I thought that Trump was pretty hard line about not doing that. If Iran's not having nuclear weapons, they're not having nuclear weapons. So I think he's going to be criticized for people for basically doing the same thing as what the first nuclear deal with Iran did back in 2015. I was surprised to see it. Maybe he's using it as a negotiation tactic, but it's still very far away from what the Iranians are proposing, which is 3 to 5 years, as well as keeping that uranium that they have on site there somehow, and what's called down blending it and trying to make it not as feasible. But that can be reversed. And so, again, the two sides are still very far apart.
And you say you were surprised to see that offer of a 20-year moratorium. We haven't specifically heard Iran's reaction to this. We heard the foreign minister talking about the mistrust that continues. But what do you think Iran's reaction and response will be specifically to that 20-year moratorium?
Well, they're very, good negotiators, and they'll likely try to come and lowball it and get to 3 to 5 years. And again, if Trump agrees to anything inside of 15, then we've landed back on the original deal that he got rid of in 2018. So I think he's going to open himself up for too much political criticism for that. And it doesn't, again, guarantee that the Iranians don't have nuclear capability, which is what he said this is all about. Now, I agree. Politicians kick the can down the road all the time. It's time to solve this problem right now, get other countries in the world, if we have to, on this side. You heard, I think the German minister now said that he agrees Iran shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. But instead of kicking the can down the road even 20 years, it needs to be taken care of right now.
Mike, it really feels that the U.S. is shifting its aims in its war in Iran. And was this the aim at the beginning, a 20-year suspension?
No, I don't think so. I think it was complete elimination of the program. And, again, the original JCPOA was not a good deal. I'll go on the record in saying that, because it would have sunsetted right around now, and Iran would have had tremendous ballistic missile capability, and it would have had proxies funded. So it would have been a nuclear program that would have been very difficult to take down then. So, no, and it wasn't a treaty. It was an agreement from the Obama administration. And people need to understand that it wasn't something that the United States necessarily had to abide by, because it wasn't a treaty. It wasn't ratified by Congress. There was congressmen then and senators then that didn't like the deal, that all of a sudden think that the deal is good now. But that's American politics, unfortunately.
And Mike, I know you've been watching the visit by Donald Trump to China, the meeting with Xi Jinping. Specifically, what has Donald Trump achieved in Beijing? And let's start with on Iran. What was achieved there, if anything at all?
Well, it turned out to be very performative. I think he tried to go in very Machiavellian-like. He was flattering Xi. He was trying to do all he can to somewhat soften him up. But President Xi was, I don't think, having anything of it. And he brought leverage. He brought the CEOs of the other countries. He's trying to project of this openness that exists. But frankly, the United States and China are still adversaries. America declining power, and he thinks that China is the rising power here. So, history, you look at, we're 25% into this century, and I still don't see China's elevation to the top of that anytime soon. Their military has never really been deployed. Their military equipment is not very good. And I think if you're going to be a global power, you have to project power in that way. But what did Trump accomplish? Well, we started to start. We have a conversation now. We need to talk about more important things: military, artificial intelligence. That would be the top of my list. We have to get artificial intelligence out of targeting and out of offensive weapons. And we have to create like a SALT treaty, what we did back in the 70s with the Russians when it came to nuclear weapons, and agree with China that we can't use artificial intelligence, or else we're going to have mutually automated destruction, and that's not going to do the world any good.
Mike, you end on some very concerning points there. Thank you very much indeed for your time and your analysis. Mike Lyons, live there from New York, former military analyst and former U.S. Army major. Thank you.
Thanks.